When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Knapik from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Knapik.
Greetings, everybody. That's right. I am your host, bringing experts and topics together on real estate matters and also matters of home ownership. We're so glad that you can join us. Our show is brought to you by Stewart Specialty Insurance Services and their president, Tom Carpentier. In addition to being the host of the show, I also am a business development officer serving the Post Oak, Kirby, and Heights area of town, along with superstars Lynn Stryker and Reich Matlock. Yeah, very intense. It's hard to keep up with those two. We also have about 13 other business development officers around the city to serve you, and if you're a realtor, to be a resource for you. As our name suggests, Stewart Title. We are stewards of your real estate transaction from the moment it hits our computer or desk, and as long as you own the property. As I said, Real Estate Matters, we talk about matters that relate to buying, selling, matters of home ownership, and we have guests that shed their light of expertise on all these matters. And we have some great guests here today. I like to mention the purpose of the show. It is threefold: to inform, entertain, and even inspire sometime if we're doing our job properly. Stewart Title. You may be saying, hey, Bill, I already have a favorite title company, and it's not Stewart Title. Are you serious? Well, if you do, that's okay. Perhaps use us as a backup. Put us in the rotation. But you know what? If you don't have a favorite title company, we humbly apply for that position. We'll return your calls and communicate with you. That's right. Now, if you want to contact me, I'm at 713-210-9767. And I want to tell you about our show today. Each show we have a little bit of a theme, at least one theme as we go along. The theme today, and I put a little caption on this based on an old song. Did you ever hear that song, When You're Alone and Life is Making You Lonely, Go Where? Well, the song says downtown, but not today. We're going uptown. We're going to the Uptown Galleria area. We're focusing on this part of town. We have experts from this part of town. You bet. This show also, title and theme, is close to my heart as I live and work in that Uptown Galleria area. It's a super awesome area. And I'm going to tell you, we are here at the Go Texan weekend. We had the trail ride yesterday and the parade today. And in honor of that, we have cowboy bumper music that we'll have throughout the show. But let me go back to a little bit of an introduction about the Uptown area, at least as it relates to your host here today. When I first got here to Houston in 1982, this was the first place I had my office. 1982. That's right. I'm about 95 years old. But yeah, I first got to this area. I remember seeing the buildings that are the Stewart Title buildings. And I was a photographer at the time. I took pictures. I thought that was awesome in terms of the modern look. But that's right. That Post Oak area is kind of the center. And we're going to talk to experts to see exactly the geographic boundaries of what we call Uptown Galleria, Houston. But I love that part of town because I think it offers some very unique things. As a resident there and again working there, that uptown feel is like no other place in Houston. The glass buildings, the townhomes, the patio homes, the high-rises, and the trees that mix in. You have a real interesting urban environment with a blend of everything. I don't think you can find that anywhere else in the Houston area, as I've been here for a long time. We have other great spots, other unique spots, but I think this part of town is super unique for those reasons. It's a great look. It's a great feel. I love it. That's right. I even like a little 610 noise with my coffee in the morning, that traffic noise. It happens. I walk my dogs. I see all that. It's super great. Also, one other thing about this little area that I'm going to put on the front end, we have some famous residents, other than myself and some of the guests in the studio. We have some famous residents and accomplished residents in this part of town. George Bush. And also, I'm going to say this, George and Barbara, that is, I'm going to also tell you about one that you might not know about, and there's plenty that I don't know that live there, but here's another person that lives in this part of town right near President Bush, and that, I'm going to say this, gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. I don't know, listeners, if you remember that quote. We have the technology, the capability to build the first bionic man. That's right, Lee Majors. is in that area too. So let's get on with the show. Just a little introduction. Uptown Galleria, a great show. On the show today, we have Mariana Saldana from Uptown Real Estate Group, Robin Van Zandt, Better Homes, Gary Greene, Lynn Zarr Jr. with Heritage Texas Properties, Michelle Steffen, Stewart Specialty Insurance Services, and John Breeding. He's the president from Uptown Houston. First up is John Breeding from Uptown Houston. John, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, we're glad that you're here, and it's also interesting that you're our neighbor there at Stewart Title, and we'll have to bring over some cookies. Someone's getting right on that to be a good neighbor. But John, tell us, in Uptown, what do you do for Uptown Houston, and what is Uptown Houston?
I have the great privilege of working for a board of directors made up of mostly the major property owners and tenants, some of the larger tenants in the Uptown area. The area, there's the market area that I would describe as much broader, running, roughly the West Loop and perhaps Highland Village, out to Sage or so. But we actually have a governmental entity that we run, and it is essentially from Woodway south down to West Park, and from the West Loop on the east side to about Sage on the west side. Okay.
And what do you do for the Uptown Houston organization?
Well, I'm the chief executive officer, but what we do is really a broad variety of things. If you ever driven down Post Oak Boulevard and you see the stainless steel arches and the rings, we do that. We get more compliments probably on the flowers on the boulevard than anything else we do, but we also provide traffic management. We also provide public safety and other improvements, and we build roads and streets. San Felipe, for example, we reconstructed that. So we do really a lot of things, almost take care of the entire infrastructure throughout the area.
Well, what's interesting is that you mentioned the chrome traffic signals, and that the beauty of that, in my opinion, is that it looks like it's new, like it was just done yesterday, but quite frankly, it's been there quite a few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, almost 22 years.
Wow.
Yes.
I told you I was 90. In fact, as you mentioned that too, it gives the idea, it makes it a memorable part of town. That's the only part of town, as far as I know, that has that distinction.
I think so. It's interesting. You talk about the area, and if you ask someone to describe it, they might start speaking about retail. But if you look at the values of properties, if you measure it like that in the area, we're about 34% office, and amazingly, we're about 30% residential. And retail, which the area is known for, accounts for about 23% of our area. And so the rest of it's made up with hotels and open space. But residential and offices are really the leading core of the area now. And I think it really speaks to it's the place where you can have it all, where you can work, where you can live, where you can shop and be entertained.
That's right. Your website, I was going to say that. Your website says a place where you can have it all. Can I really have it all there, John?
You can have it all.
There you go.
You can have it in abundance.
That's the greatest. And we also talk about that Post Oak area. I can't help but think about one of my favorite things to do, and I think around Houston, many people would agree, the lighting of the fireworks on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
How do you beat that event?
Yeah, we've been doing that for about this will be our 29th year, and it's really become a big Houston tradition. The interesting thing about what's going on in our market is going on in the rest of Houston is the incredible amount of development that is happening. We have over 5,000 dwelling units under construction at this moment.
Okay, so time out. You're saying 5,000. Yeah. Does that encompass the high-rise buildings?
High-rise apartments. It really is amazing. It is the growth area. For the first time since the late 80s, we're building office buildings. We have over 2 million square foot of office development coming out of the ground right now, with about another million that's in that development process. And we see retail continuing to grow with Boulevard Place, and the Galleria is going to reinvent itself. About a third of the Galleria is going to be reconstructed. So there's some really very exciting things that are going on, and it's really great to be in Houston, Texas. It's great to be in Uptown Houston.
When you talk about the Galleria renovation, what's the time frame on that? Is that coming up soon?
It's happening now. The Saks Fifth Avenue store they're going to get a brand new store. We built down on the west end of the Galleria there on Sage at Westheimer. and then it will allow the sort of redevelopment of all of the old Saks area, et cetera. So we continually reinvent ourselves and continue to grow. So that's a big part of it. We've got new Hyatt Regency under construction. Giorgio Berlinghi's coming back in with for sale condominiums. It's a very good time in this market.
Well, staying on the retail again.
Okay.
Things that are coming down the pike on retail other than the Galleria, what other things? I know right around our building there's new construction that looks like it's retail. What's coming? Yeah,
Boulevard Place is a very exciting project being developed by Ed Wolf. And not only, for me, Whole Foods it's going to be fun. I can stop by and pick up something on the way home, right? But new restaurants, new retail, some exciting new retail that we haven't seen in Houston before. Well, what's interesting, right by that retail is a brand new high-rise residential project that's being built by Hanover. People are going to be able to live in that environment, experience it, and that urban lifestyle that people are really looking for is available.
That's the urban lifestyle I spoke of, and it is nice to have that as an atmosphere. Yeah. And I would think other people that live and work there, as they move around, they look and say, "Hey, this is great." Let's touch on hotels, if you would. Yeah. Of course, how many hotels would you say are in the Uptown area right now, approximately?
About 32 hotels, a little over 7,000 hotel rooms, and are adding about another 1,000 rooms over the next 24 months.
That's incredible. Yeah. Fascinating. Is that? And then, of course, you mentioned the Whole Foods.
Yes.
And then you got Fresh Market, so many places to shop.
I think it's going to become even a more desirable place for people to live there, because one of the things the mayor and city council did was actually add Memorial Park into our TERS so that we can begin to take some of the revenues that are being generated in Uptown and do things to restore Memorial Park after it suffered from the drought and from the hurricane and things like that. One of the things we're going to do is provide greater access so those of us in Uptown or on the west side can easily enjoy the park. The idea, it's going to be great, and that we're really excited about the opportunity to help that park.
Well, John, we're going to come back with John Breeding. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, your host, Bill Knapik, and we're going to be right back.
Love and they're harder to hold. They'd rather give you a song than diamonds or gold. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
On the road again, just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends.
That's right, we're on the road again, on the road to the Uptown Galleria area. That's right, we're here with John Breeding, CEO of Uptown Houston. John, we talked about how great an area this is to live, but also I'd like to think about, as I move around that area, it's a great place for married people, single people. I see people raising kids. So it really does kind of cover that have it all kind of thing, almost have it all for everybody.
Mm-hmm. You know, the thing I find interesting is that the great schools, both HISD, some really exemplary schools nearby. There's a lot of great private schools. So families really are in the area. And then I think that one of the great things about our area that both professional men and women, whether they're single or married, is a great place, a very safe, secure area. And, right. You know, it's a great area when your friends visit you. It's kind of impressive.
Well, John, anything else we should know? Another highlight to leave us with, if you would, please, about the Uptown Galleria area?
Well, our purpose is to solve problems and try to enhance the value and the convenience of the area. And, you know, you can't discuss this area, this booming economy, without talking about traffic. We continually work with the agencies. We are undertaking about a $200 million program to actually build new dedicated bus lanes that serve Post Oak Boulevard. They'll help bring those people who aren't fortunate enough to live in Uptown but work in Uptown, bring them from their suburban locations into the area. And we're working with various agencies to make that happen. So that's a big thing that we're doing. Continue to work TxDOT, trying to make our drive home every afternoon convenient. So solving problems, making a wonderful place, creating a better value. We get up every morning and go to bed every night thinking about how to do that.
Well, you know, we have some realtors on the show, and those people that live in those suburban areas can buy a home or two homes from these people coming up. John, thanks for being on the show, and tell people how they can reach you if they want more information on Uptown Houston.
Our website, uptown-houston.com, that will get you everything you need.
Great. John, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was John Breeding from Uptown Houston. Next up on the show is our sponsor, Michelle Steffen with Stewart Specialty Insurance Services. Michelle, greetings and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, you know, we always say this, but it needs to be repeated. People think Stewart Title, well, I've seen those guys. I've heard about Bill. I've seen the buildings. I've heard about some of the other people at Stewart Title. But you sell insurance too?
We do.
It's
Absolutely.
a separate company, right? Stewart
it is.
Specialty
We're
Insurance
a wholly
Services.
owned Stewart Title company. We're an independent insurance agency, so we work with 30-plus personal lines markets, shopping home, auto, watercraft, motorcycle, all lines of business.
So it's well, to take John's word, you can have it all. You can have all the insurance you want from Michelle and the group at Stewart Specialty Insurance Services.
Definitely.
That's right. But you cover the main things, home and auto. Now, also, as we're talking Galleria Uptown, are there other considerations? I mean, there's a lot of high-rises, condos that people own. There's a lot of people that are renting there. What kind of things, insurance-wise, should people think about when they live in the Galleria Uptown or think about living
Exactly.
there?
Well, just touching on what you've said and touching on what John said, there's high-valued condo units. We've got townhomes. We've got regular single-family homes as well. All of those need to be insured, and condo units specifically need a specific type of homeowner's policy that's going to cover the internal structure and the contents, and then liability and loss assessment that could potentially be assessed by condo owner associations. All of that's very, very important.
Do you think there's probably some people that move into the condo and don't think about getting, they think that it's already insured?
Well, I guarantee it, absolutely. But there's a significant difference between the external coverage and the internal coverage that would be required by lenders as well as potentially the management companies.
Michelle, and you're at 1980 Post Oak, right?
We are.
We're all kind of neighbors there.
We are, indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can visit Michelle and the other people with the Stewart Specialty Insurance Services at 1980 Post Oak. It's a unique situation in that, as Stewart has many title offices around the city, that's the only one with an insurance store, if you will, and that the retail that we were just talking about. It's a kind of an insurance store, right?
That's right. Absolutely. Come in and visit. We've got cookies.
Well, and we're going to bring some over to John later, but Michelle, tell people how they can reach you and your team.
You bet. StewartSpecialtyInsurance.com is our website. You can reach us by phone, 866-798-2827. Again, that's 866-798-2827. And we also have a Facebook page, so please look us up on Facebook.
Well, Michelle, thank you for that information on insurance. And listeners, Michelle's going to be back later in the show. Now we have another special guest that stepped up to the microphone, Mariana Saldana with Uptown Realty Group. Mariana, thank you and welcome to the show. We're glad you're here.
Thank you, and it's Uptown Real Estate Group.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now, see, my notes, I get and make at least one or two mistakes per show, so we'll have to see where that other one's going to happen. But we're glad that you're here on the show. Tell us about what you do for your company.
I am the president of Uptown Real Estate Group, and I work.
You're the owner,
also
right?
I'm the owner. I'm the president. I'm the owner, but I also sell.
So you're an active, along with how many agents are at your
About
company?
15 agents, and I am a certified international property specialist.
And that's right. You do have an international component to your business, and that international component fits very well into the Uptown Galleria. Does that make it a more attractive spot? A lot of people from that are visiting come in.
Yes, I would think so. 75% of our business is from international.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask also, as far as the real estate profession, it's a tough profession. Many people don't realize all the parts and all the things you have to be as a realtor. But I would ask you, out of curiosity, what got you interested in the real estate profession to begin with?
30 years ago, I worked in the medical center for a very prominent international doctor. And I ended up translating for the Mexican clients that were buying properties. So I thought, well, why don't I get into this? I had to do the translation from English to Spanish, Spanish to English, and I wasn't making any money.
Well,
they were inviting me to dinner.
So you saw opportunity. Isn't that interesting
Yes,
how
yes.
opportunity works for all of us in life?
Right.
You saw that and you put it right together. Are you glad you did?
Absolutely.
There you go. Years later, and you're very successful. Now, there's many real estate companies in the area all over Houston, of course, but I think yours is unique. And what role does your company play in that Galleria Uptown? How do you see the role of where you fit there?
Well, the reason I opened the office inside the Galleria is because I ended up picking up our clients 15 years ago when I started Uptown Real Estate Group. I've been in real estate 30 years, but 15 years ago in the Galleria, I ended up picking up the clients at both of the hotels, Westin Oaks and Westin Galleria. So I thought, well, why not be here, right where they are?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's smart.
It is a little problem because when you make an appointment with a client to show a property, at 12 and they're shopping, it's a headache. They can't find the wife or the wife can't find the husband. So we always make appointments early in the morning before the Galleria opens to show properties.
And listeners, if you picked up on that, again, Mariana has a location in the Galleria, not next to it, not near it. She is in the Galleria. In fact, I go to the Apple store every now and then for computer training so I could sharpen my skills. But when I'm at that Apple store, all I have to do is look up, and you're on, what, the 6th floor, is it?
Yes, we're on the 6th floor.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, does that also lend itself as people are shopping? And I know you have a few signs around the Galleria. Do you ever have a shopper that actually sees the sign and says, I didn't know there's a real estate company, I'm going to go talk to them? Does that happen?
Yes, a few, not much. It doesn't make our business. It's not the walk-ins that that create our business, but we do have a few.
Well, I think, too, as people shop, that reminds them, because in shopping, your mind wanders and you might think about, gosh, especially if you're from out of town or out of the country, you might be walking around saying, maybe I want to move to Houston someday. Maybe I want to retire here. Maybe I want to have a second home. So that just, I think, keeping not just your company, but keeping the idea of real estate on someone's mind, it reminds them.
Right, it does.
Now, we're talking about this area and how exciting it is. Do you actually live in that Galleria Uptown area?
Yes, I do. I live on Woodway in a high-rise.
Okay, you don't live in the Galleria, though. That'd be...
Well, Post Oak and Galleria. Post Oak and Woodway. It's the Galleria area. 7
That's
minutes.
right.
7 minutes from the Galleria.
Yeah. Now, what attracted you to this area to begin with, as far as, just say, as a resident?
Oh, as a resident, actually, I have a home at the Royal Oaks Country Club. And I wanted to be in a condo, not to be in a home. So I leased my home, and I wanted to be close to the office. And in a high-rise, it's security. Security was my main concern.
And also, I guess, low maintenance, too. I mean, you don't have to worry. You could focus on the real estate and all the opportunities,
Absolutely.
Right?
Close to the office, security, and maintenance depends on the buildings that you pick. There are some buildings in the Galleria that a 3-bedroom apartment will cost you $2,000 a month maintenance fee. Mm-hmm. So it just depends what buildings you live in. Of course, they are all sold. Somebody does live in all of them, but we have several buildings in the Galleria area that the 3 bedrooms are $2,000 to $2,500 a month maintenance versus a home that's maybe $400 or $500, depending on the size of the home and the land.
Well, in a fee like that, say the 2,000 range, what kind of things are included in that?
Well, they have a 24-hour concierge, and they have valet parking. It includes water, gas, and the landscaping, the building insurance, the outside insurance for the building. Mm-hmm. Basically, that's about it.
And actually, that extra component, like you mentioned at the beginning, of security. So that's a good feature, too.
Security is very important in the city. As we get larger, it gets more. We need security.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Your host, Bill. I am with Mariana Saldana with Uptown Real Estate Group. And we're talking about real estate. We're talking about the Uptown Galleria area. And we're going to come right back with Mariana.
Out in the country past the city limit sign where there's a honky-tonk near the county line. The joint starts jumping every night when the sun goes down. They got whiskey, women, music and smoke. It's where all the cowboy folk go to boot, scoot, boogie.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Specialty Insurance has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Visit StewartSpecialtyInsurance.com or call 866-845-4676. Stewart Specialty Insurance is here to help.
All my exes live in Texas.
That's right. And you know what? Not that anybody cares about the host's personal life, but all my exes except one does live in Texas. And quite frankly, the ones that are here in Texas are in the Uptown Galleria area. I see them every now and then when I'm shopping. True fact, no embellishment here. We're here with Mariana Saldana with Uptown Real Estate Group. You know, she has a location right in the Galleria for her brokerage, and I think that's fascinating. But as we're talking about the Uptown Galleria real estate market with Mariana, and Mariana, we're thinking about that international component that Galleria attracts, right? That Galleria Uptown area. When you deal with an international client, are there other like I said, the real estate professional has to have a huge set of skills, but when you deal with an international client, you have to be like extra. You have to
work fast.
Speed is of the essence, huh?
Yes. They're only here 2 or 3 days. They want to see everything. They are late to their appointments. We make appointments to show homes, and then you make an appointment to show a home and you're in the same area, it's every 30 minutes. Then they're an hour late. You have to call and change everything. It's not easy. Working with international, you have to have a lot of patience. And you have to be very respectful because, if you blow a fuse, you will offend them.
Fuse?
And
yeah, you've
they don't
never blown a fuse, have you?
No. My fuses are, long-lasting.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's one strategy. Well, what other considerations with the international client? That's a great point. I mean, it's just you have to. Well, also bilingual helps in some cases, right?
Right. We all speak Spanish. We're bilingual. We do a lot with Latin America and Mexico, but we also have clients from Brazil. This year we've had Brazil. We've had Venezuela. I have somebody from France right now. Everybody speaks the language. We don't get anybody in. The only people that we get in that don't speak English would probably be Chinese. I've had Chinese in the office that. It's almost like sign language. And the first thing they say is they want to go to River Oaks.
Okay. And you take them there, don't you?
Believe me, I get up from my desk and I tour them in River Oaks.
That's great. Well, I'll tell you what, I wish I were bilingual. However, I can be silent in 7 languages. That's one of my skills. Tell us, Mariana, anything else we need to know about that Galleria Uptown area from your perspective? I know you live, you work there, and you just you have the pulse because you're right in the center.
Right. It is the place, if you have a visitor from another city or from another country, it's the place where you take your people. I mean, where do you take them? You take them to NASA, you show them the medical center, you show them downtown, and you take them to the Galleria. We have all the restaurants there. We have the most beautiful shopping area in the city, and we have the beautiful buildings and everything else that's coming up. I think that anybody that invests either in a high-rise, a home, or a townhome in the area is going to have a very nice profit in the next few years.
I would agree with you.
It's going to be costing a lot more money to live there. So if people are interested, do it now before it's all, before it costs much more.
You're exactly right, in my opinion. Absolutely. Also, I'll say one thing we had mentioned the location of that Galleria Uptown. I know myself, sometimes I've gone to Clear Lake, I've gone to the Woodland. It is so easy to get to the even the farthest places in our city. So, but Mariana, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell the listeners how they can reach you.
Our office is 713-629-7771.
And one more time on the number, please.
713-629-7771.
Thank you so much for being on the show,
are
and
welcome.
I'll see you in the Galleria.
All right.
Next up to the microphone, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. And we have on the microphone coming up Miss Robin Van Zandt with Better Homes Gary Greene Properties. Robin, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We're so glad that you're here. And tell us what you do for Better Homes Gary Greene, if you would.
Absolutely. I am a second-generation realtor, residential, and I represent both buyers and sellers in the greater Houston metro area. I feel very fortunate to work for Better Homes and Gardens. We currently hold 19 offices here locally in the greater Houston area. Also includes offices nationwide. So we handle a lot of relocation clients that are trying to move in and out of the city, and it makes it very easy for us to connect with other agents and get them to their destination.
Well, when you say second generation real estate, is real estate in your blood or something?
Unfortunately, I came here I came here for graduate school, and Mom has been selling for 40 years, and she's very successful, so I grew up with it, and she kind of kept nudging me, and I had a feeling that that's the direction I would take, and of course I did, and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
It looks like it fits you well. And also from the business aspect of real estate, in specifically, I know you probably sell in other areas too, but in the Galleria Uptown, what is it that attracts you to do business in this unique area of Houston?
Right. I think we have a lot to offer as far as retail, which has been mentioned, retail, shopping, restaurants, you can't go wrong. It basically, to me, is the pulse, the heart of the city. As far as housing is concerned, I think, we offer a little bit for everybody. You have, what we call the urban dwellers. That could be those that travel business internationally, nationally. And you may have empty nesters that want, the lock and go lifestyle. So a high-rise unit might be something easy. They don't have a yard to maintain. But for those who are looking for, want to be close into the city and want to raise their family, I think we have several neighborhoods located throughout the Galleria that kind of give you a balance of both city living and suburban living. So we kind of seem to have it all.
Boy, that could be the secondary theme of the show, and I think you're absolutely right. Now, do you live in the area, Robin?
I do. I've been a resident of the area for about 10 years now, and like I said, what drew me to the area is I do work the inner loop areas of Houston, and I feel like from the heart of the Galleria, I can get to other areas of the city within 10 minutes.
Exactly. No, I agree wholeheartedly with that. Now, do you live in a high-rise by chance?
I do. I live in a high-rise.
That makes it even more fun.
Life is easy.
You get the great views.
I do get the great views. Walking dogs isn't all that fun, but
well, that's something we haven't talked about. That's right. There are so many pets that are in, and I know just in my neighborhood, I don't live in a high rise, but there are so many pets that are in that area, and I know two of those pets are listening to the show. My two dogs are listening. Are yours listening?
They're always listening. They
There
pay
you
attention. They know better.
Well, we have had reports that when pets hear this show, that they get extra happy. So give them their favorite drink and a cookie and let them hear the show. Their tails will wag. I guarantee it. Give us an idea. Back to the real estate part of this. What do the prices range? Let's say someone wanted a condo. Let's forget about a town, but just a condo and wanted that easy living. What do they range in that Post Oak Galleria area?
Sure, and I think they range anywhere from the 250s up to the multi-million. It just depends on exactly what location you're looking for, and the amenities also are a big selling point as well.
Well, at 250, that doesn't sound bad. I know myself. I used to travel before Stewart Title for good 20 years, and that made my life easy by going in and out and getting to the airport. So that's another super feature. Now, in your role as a realtor, do you focus on specifically condos or townhomes, or is it's just a whole mixture of?
It's a whole mixture. I think we have multifamily units, we have single family, townhomes, high rises. Like I said, even down to lots. If someone's ready to build, we can sell you anything.
Well, if I'm one of your clients and I say, well, I want to live in the Uptown Galleria area, what kind of input do you need from me just where you can get that home that I'm looking for? And like Mariana said, in the interest of time, where I want to get that quick, especially with the brisk real estate market.
Right. I think first and foremost, my main concern is always keeping an open line of communication. I think typically I take buyers out when they first arrive in Houston, even on a restricted time frame, I drive them in the areas. We tour different buildings to kind of get a feel for what will best suit their needs. And I think from there, once I get feedback on properties we've seen, I think it helps me narrow down their selections, making the process a lot easier.
Of course, they're going to tell you the price range that they're in. And I bet you have some people that may say, well, I want a condo. Starting out their search with a condo, and then next thing you know, they're, look at that townhome over there, right? I mean, you got to... Flexibility becomes important, right?
Right. The first thing I mention to buyers over the phone is always keep an open mind. You may see something in a picture, and this happens 9 times out of 10, that you think is going to be the perfect location, the perfect spot for you. And you can walk in something completely that was not even on your radar, and that ends up being the where you live.
Well, there's a lot of obvious features about the area and some not so, but something to say, Robin, that people don't know about the area that you see from your perspective. What would you share with the listeners?
I think, sometimes the Uptown area, Galleria, gets a bad rap just because of the traffic. But honestly, I don't, I obviously live in the area, and I just don't ever feel it's any different from any other area in the city as far as getting to and from locations.
And seriously, as you talk about the traffic, the way I look at it, I've been very fortunate. I've been able to bring my lifestyle together with where I live and where I work, and that makes it easy. So even when the traffic is tough, and it is, even going a mile from my office sometimes, traffic is tough, but that sure helps to keep things close. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, your host, Bill Knapik. We're talking Uptown Galleria on a Go Texan weekend, and we'll be right back.
I'm a hard-working man. I wear a steel hard hat.
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
I've got some fond memories of San Angelo, and I've seen some beauty.
Welcome back, listeners. We're here with Robin Van Zandt, Better Homes, Gary Greene Realty. We're talking about Houston, Uptown. Robin lives in the area. She's a realtor that works that area. Robin, tell us about you mentioned proximity to fun things to do. What are some of the things that the top two you think that putting the Galleria aside, we know that's a fun thing and a tourist attraction, but name 2 things that you might think that are just fun things as a resident of the area that you tell your clients about and do yourself.
Sure. Personally, I enjoy the proximity, the ease of getting to Memorial Park. It's a 5 to 10 minute ride, and you can park right alongside. And for avid runners, joggers, hiking, they have a golf course. I think if you're looking for a little bit of green space right within the city, they've got what you need. I'm big into the arts, so I very much enjoy 10 to 15 minute ride down into the downtown area where there's museums, art, ballet, anything you can ask for, culturally speaking.
You ever bring your dogs out there, Memorial Park?
Yes.
They like that?
They love it. They love it. They know when we're going to the park. So.
Well, that's super great. Robin, thanks for being on the show. Tell the listeners how they can reach you.
I am reachable at it's livinginterloop.com. I was giving you my email address. So anyhow.
And your phone number.
And my phone number is 713-805-4634.
And one more time on the number?
Absolutely. 713-805-4634.
Robin, thank you for being on the show. We're so glad to have you, and I'll see you around there in Memorial Park. I'll bring my 2 dogs out there, too. Next up on the microphone, we have Lynn Zarr Jr. He's with Heritage Texas Properties, And he also is a resident and a realtor that's an expert and works the Uptown Galleria. Lynn, thanks and welcome to the show. We're glad that you're here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'll tell
Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, through the years I've seen your signs and listings in the area there. But tell us what you do, what you do for Heritage Texas Properties.
Well, I'm a realtor and help buyers and sellers with their real estate needs all around the Galleria, Uptown area, and the greater metropolitan Houston area.
Well, also, I'd like to ask the same question I asked Mariana. What attracted you to the real estate profession?
Well, much like Robin said, I had a father who was in the business, so I was brought up in the real estate business, and it just seemed like a natural fit, and so definitely that would be my influence.
Well, that's interesting. Out of the 3 realtors here on the show today, 2 of them, it's kind of a family. I think there's even a country song, something about a family tradition, isn't it?
It sure is.
That's exciting. Also, though, as we talk about your specialty in real estate in the Uptown Galleria area, what attracts you specifically to work that area and focus on it?
Well, it's
professionally.
That's an easy one. It's actually where I grew up. I grew up in the Galleria area, and to me, it's the heart of the city. I think of it as the heart of the city. I mean, like you said just earlier, you can get anywhere in the city in very short order, whether you're going to the medical facilities or downtown, or you commute out of town, whether it be Sugar Land or Woodlands. We have a lot of folks that move in the city and live and actually commute outwards. So it's a great spot to be as well. So.
Oh, certainly. I agree wholeheartedly. It is, to me, it's the epicenter of the city. And as I said earlier, it's also a very unique spot to Houston and, gosh, probably the United States. It really is a great area. You know, as we do talk about other areas in the city, we've had shows about the Clear Lake, the Bay Area. We have one on the Woodlands. And, of course, when we talk, say, the Woodlands, for example, we hear people mention Exxon's coming to Woodlands. Is there anything of any sort of magnitude that you see coming down the pike here in the Uptown Galleria area that might be a comparison even on a smaller scale?
You know, I think about that question. I really don't think of anything one in particular. I think it's what everybody has said on the show already is we have it all. We have so many things. So whether it be 8 or 9 different parks, you know, the Waterwall Park, Memorial Park. We have they're redeveloping a kayak and canoe park right at 610 and Woodway. That's just going to be fabulous to enjoy the bayou that so many people that whether you even grew up in Houston don't get to, don't even know about or use, or you're moving to town. And I mean, it's a great resource that is so untapped I think in the last few years. So.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned the bayou, this kayak thing. I was wondering what was going on. I see there's like construction, but what is that going to be?
Well, as I understand it, it's going to be a launch of some sort for the kayakers and stuff that have kind of evolved into kayaking through Memorial Park, River Oaks, and on into the Allen Parkway downtown area, which again is just a hub or a starting point right there in the Uptown district. So.
Yeah, actually, that bayou backs up to my complex that I live, so that's good to know. I guess.
And it's neat if you've never done it. I'd suggest getting out there and trying it because it is you see the city from a whole different perspective.
That's right,
and it's amazing that just right there. Amongst all the buildings, the cars, the 610 loop and everything that you can get in there and enjoy a resource like that.
And when you mention perspective, I think once again, that's one of the things this area of Houston offers, the texture, the high rises, the glass, the chrome, the trees, the beautiful neighborhoods. It's super, it's unique. What do you think people of course, they know a lot about. What do you think the things are that they may not know about the area other than this kayak launch? I live right there, and I didn't know that.
I think that's one. I think it's easy to focus in on all the amazing restaurants and shopping and retail that we have, but we have it all. Whether you're a golfer, a hunter, or a shopper, or into fashion, whatever, there is you can get what you're looking for right there and not have to travel very far at all.
When you think about what's coming in that area and the things that you've heard as a realtor and as a resident too, What do you see coming down the pike that maybe we haven't touched upon here? Yeah, there's a lot of restaurants, I guess, new restaurants coming, the hotels, but any other things that you see that are going to be coming soon or even years down the road?
I think the variety of dwelling or variety of a home that you can get now is, I've been in this business a long time, and there's so many choices from high-rise, mid-rises. There's great luxury rental opportunities. There's single-family homes with small yards, large lots. There's just a huge variety that has evolved over the last, call it 10 or 15 years, that affords somebody whatever flexibility, whatever their stage of lifestyle they're in, whether they're downsizing or upsizing. We've got a lot there.
If you've had someone move into the area that has not been from Houston and just landed in that Uptown area, you sold them a house or whatever, what have they told you anything that surprised them about the area or made them happy and said, "Oh, Lynn, I didn't know it was going to be this good"? Or
I think I deal with a lot of families that and I think in schools are such a big part of their existence, and we have some phenomenal both public and private schools, as John said earlier, that we have a phenomenal family environment as well.
Awesome. Lynn, thanks for being on the show. Would you tell the listeners how to reach you?
I sleep with my cell phone, so that's the best one, 713-502-9996. You can also look me up on Facebook or go to the Heritage Texas website.
And your phone number again, one more time?
It's 713-502-9996.
And it looks like you got a lot of sleep, so no one called you last night. You look rested up and ready for action. But thank you for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Lynn Zarr Jr. with Heritage Texas Properties. And you're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, your host, Bill Knapik. You can reach me, by the way, at 713-210-9767 if you have a comment or if I could be of any service for you in the title business. We're going to be right back with Michelle, Steffen, and here's another cowboy tune to take us to the break.
But I made me a vow to the moon and stars I'd search the honky-tonks and bars and kill that man that gave me that awful name. Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July, and I'd just hit town and my throat was dry. I thought I'd stop and have myself a brew.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Specialty Insurance has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Visit StewartSpecialtyInsurance.com or call 866-845-4676. Stewart Specialty Insurance is here to help.
All right, you're back with Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Bill Knapik here. My Michelle is up to the microphone right now from Stewart Specialty Insurance Services. Michelle, welcome back.
Howdy.
Hey, howdy. We were reminding listeners they can get insurance from Stewart Specialty Insurance Services. That's right?
That's
Home,
absolutely
auto?
right. Absolutely.
What about those condos?
That's a very important part of what we're talking about today. Certainly give us a call. We have a great group of professionals that are knowledgeable. They specialize in the type of products that you need for that specific area, Uptown Galleria. We have people that are bilingual as well. So send us your international customers. We can help them.
Hey, Michelle, what if my dog bites someone? Is that covered on my insurance?
That depends. You need to check with me, call your agent, make sure that the liability coverage does extend to your dogs. Okay. Absolutely.
And if the dog apologizes, it's okay? All right.
It might be okay.
Okay, Michelle, thanks for being on the show. Last words, Mr. John Breeding.
It is a great time to be in Houston, Texas. It's even a better time to be in Uptown. Let me tell you about some of the things that are happening. More new development, more new residential, more new retail, and more new office development is happening. But we're also doing a lot of things to make the quality of life better, creating more green space, making better connections to Memorial Park, really making this a place where you can have the very best in lifestyle of living, working, shopping, and entertainment. You can go to dinner and you can ride your bike through Memorial Park all the way downtown. There's just a lot of things that are happening that makes the area a great place to be.
John, one other thing. Are we going to see, as we're a few months away from summer, are we going to actually see new things that will have manifested by the summertime in the Uptown?
They are growing daily. I'm trying to think about all the constructions. We are seeing new openings. We'll see Boulevard Place, Whole Foods open in April. Can't wait till that happens.
Well, John, thanks for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, that was John Breeding, Uptown Houston. Next up, saying his parting thought today is Lynn Zarr Jr. Lynn, what would you tell the listeners as you head out there to the rodeo?
I get asked almost daily if it's a good time to buy, and I absolutely think now is a phenomenal time to buy. With interest rates the way they are and with this appreciating market that we're in, it's a wonderful time to buy. Even though it's a very tight seller's market, don't let that discourage you from finding the perfect home, because you're going to enjoy some appreciation over the next few years.
Is it a good time to sell?
It's a fabulous time to sell as well. So
if I sell, I'm going to be able to find a home? They're saying the market's tight.
You bet. We'll stay close to me, and we'll find you a place to live.
Lynn, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate it. That was Lynn Zarr Jr., Heritage Texas Property, Mariana.
I think that it's a great time for people to buy. A lot of people want to buy and not lose their investment.
Right.
They'll be making more money than if their money was in the bank, for sure.
Well, see, that's an interesting point. During the show, we didn't really think about, we think we buy something, we hope it appreciates, but actually people buy, of all the places in town, real estate in Uptown Galleria, and it becomes a good investment, doesn't it?
You'll be able to live beautiful and make money.
Well,
what's better than that?
We're going back to the beginning. You could have it all.
You can have it all at Uptown.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had some great guests today on the show. Michelle, a parting thought on insurance thought for us.
We have cookies.
Oh, all right. Michelle.
Come in and visit us on 1980 Post Oak. We'll definitely take you in, look at your policies, and find coverage for you.
That's super awesome. Now that we've made some new friends, right, Michelle?
Absolutely.
We're going to bake them cookies, and we're going to make the rounds. And I can't wait to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, your host, Bill Knapik. And I want to tell you a few things. This is the Go Texan weekend. Cowboys, Stewart Title is part of not just Houston heritage, but Texas heritage. Our company is 120 years old, started right down the road in Galveston, Texas by Mr. Mako Stewart. 120 years of service. And we'd be honored to serve you and your clients. If you're a realtor or if you're a homeowner or someone selling or buying a home, you might want to think about Stewart Title. We'll be stewards of your real estate transaction. We would be honored to serve you. I'm a business development officer in addition to being host of this show. And you can reach me at 713-210-9767. Thank you so much to our great guest. Thank you, Stewart Management, for allowing us to have this show. And thank you for Stewart Specialty Insurance Services for sponsoring our show. Miss Betty Warren, our executive producer, all the management. We love you, and we love our new guests and friends. We'll see you next week, and have a great Rodeo Texas weekend in Houston, Uptown.